The station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Tonight on DC News Now at 9, a distraught family in Prince William County, Virginia, pleading for answers as they search for a loved one who is still missing 1 week after he was last seen. Plus,
felt safe until that happened. So now, and then I'm hearing about other shootings in the community, and so that makes me nervous.
Police continue to search for suspects nearly 2 months after a teenager was shot and killed in front of his home. We're live in Temple Hills, Maryland tonight as neighbors say they're on edge and concerned for their safety.
also frustration building amid the Southwest Airlines meltdown. We have team coverage with the latest on where the situation stands.
And weather-wise, we enjoyed a fantastic afternoon across the DMV with drier air, but we do have a warm-up in store with more sunshine. We'll look at your extended forecast coming up.
And good evening, and thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 9. I'm Mark Hall, filling in for Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Tasmin Mahfouz. Our top story tonight, a heartbroken Prince William County family is pleading for help, looking for their loved one who's still missing a week after he was last seen. Our Northern Virginia Bureau reporter Max Marcilla joins us live.
Look, the family says this has been just the worst week imaginable, and it's that hurt that is leading them to reach out to anyone and everyone who could possibly help, who might know something, as they searched for Jose Guerrero.
He's a very sweet person. I love him very much.
It's the pain felt so strong by Jose Guerrero's family. His mother, Andrea Salgado, and his girlfriend, Sheila Perez, have not stopped searching for Jose since he disappeared days before Christmas. Jose and Sheila have a baby girl together.
If he were next to me right now, he would tell me to be strong for our daughter.
That hurt is guiding an all-out search through wooded areas in Woodbridge. Salgado says they found Jose's car, but he is still missing.
I want to spend my rest of my life with him. He's my everything, and I'm not stopping until I find him.
Prince William County Police did not have an update on Jose's missing endangered case. The last update came before Christmas, saying Jose was last seen on the 21st at around 8 p.m., is missing under suspicious circumstances, and that his car was located near Bel Air Road and Jeffries Road in Woodbridge.
I feel like we're doing everything for them. We're finding all the evidence. We found the vehicle. Horrifying.
Jose's loved ones are frustrated with the investigation, but say they're going to keep looking.
We're not stopping until we find you. I'll be here, we'll be here every day until we find you.
Now, police say that Jose was last seen wearing a blue sweater with blue jeans and black shoes, and if anyone knows anything or has any tips, they are urged to call Prince William County Police. That number 703-792-6500. Reporting live from Woodbridge, Virginia, Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
Max saying, so developing in Maryland, it's been nearly 2 months since 13-year-old Jace Agnew was shot and killed in front of his Temple Hills home while he was raking leaves outside. Now, his murder has left the community on edge, and police still have no suspects. Our Prince George's County reporter, Jan-Marie Sase, is live for us in Temple Hills. And Jan-Marie, you spoke to neighbors on the impact of Agnew's death.
Yeah, many people describe this area as calm, safe, and very, very safe for many people. But that all changed 50 days ago when 13-year-old Jace Agnew was shot in front of his home. Now, neighbors I spoke with today say they haven't felt safe since, and they not only want answers, but more surveillance in the area.
You know, something as simple as the mail carrier attempting to deliver mail and startled me literally out of my skin to the point where I was going to hit the mail carrier with an item that was in my hand. It was a natural reaction as a result of my fear.
Several neighbors have lived in fear since Jace Agnew was gunned down in this Temple Hills neighborhood nearly 2 months ago, and police still have no suspects.
Felt safe until that happened. So now, and then I'm hearing about other shootings in the community, and So that makes me nervous. I pretty much just come home and go in the house.
He, she, we don't know, person, still out there. What can we do to stop the gun violence? How can we protect our young people and just people in general? It's very sad, and something must be done. There's got to be a better way.
Dammy Ferguson has a Ring camera, but it wasn't charged the day of the incident.
Wow, maybe if the camera had been on, maybe we could have caught something. So now we make sure that it stays charged.
We realize that without community surveillance, we have to do something to feel a little safer.
Another neighbor who did not want to be identified says she plans on expanding her security system.
My plan is to expand my camera radius around my home. In fact, I don't even know that I will be in the area much longer as a result of this incident.
As police continue to investigate, Jay's mother, Juanita Agnew, is still pleading for answers.
We are fighting for justice for Jays, and we're fighting for justice for the entire community. There's needs for more surveillance, and there's need for more police presence in the neighborhood. But even awareness, like we need to be more vigilant. Wake up, and get involved and know that gun violence can knock on anybody's door.
Now, community members, the family, and other people still want answers to this case, and there is a $25,000 reward for anyone who has any information, and you can remain anonymous. For now, reporting live in Temple Hills, Maryland, I'm Yamari Sase, DC News Now.
All right, thanks to Yamari. Well, the year is starting to wind down, and the weather is cooperating.
Yeah, we are loving how warm it is. Let's check in with our chief meteorologist, Janessa Webb. Hey there, Janessa.
Hi, I think many people are saying about time, right? After tracking winter storms, this chill that has been in place, finally getting some relief. If you're out towards Washington County, good evening. 38 degrees sitting under clear skies. And so this is a warmer pattern still tonight. We're going to track in some colder air, but not as bad as the last couple of nights. Now, from our satellite radar, you can see a few clouds lingering out towards Cumberland, Frederick as well, but Northern Virginia, man, you're soaking up all that clearing, and that's going to continue to take place for most of the viewing area. Now, this is closer to the suburbs of the district, 34, so slightly cooler, sitting under partly cloudy conditions, and throughout the district, many spots are just above the freezing mark. Still, you have some 20s across Culpeper into Fauquier County. Now, we're on a trend of warming, and the big thaw that is taking place across the East Coast. We'll look at your extended forecast coming up.
Janessa, thank you. And developing tonight, Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin has announced he has lymphoma. So Raskin released a statement saying he's been diagnosed with large B cell lymphoma, which is a serious but curable form of cancer. Now, he says a prognosis for most people in his situation is excellent after 4 months of treatment. Now, he's most well known for his role as the House's lead manager in the second impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump. Also, days before the January 6th insurrection, Raskin's 25-year-old son died by suicide, and it's an experience that he calls life-altering and led him to write about his grief in a book titled Unthinkable: Trauma, Truth, and the Trials of American Democracy.
The tools we use to recover from disruption serve us well 99% of the time, but clearly we need to double down on our already existing plans to upgrade systems for these extreme circumstances so that we never again face what's happening right now.
The CEO of Southwest Airlines apologizing, says the airline hopes to be fully operational by the end of the week.
Yeah, we know an underlying issue is outdated computer and phone systems for scheduling. Meanwhile, hundreds of people are still stranded in our area in the DMV, many running out of patience and options to get to their destination, and people are also getting desperate.
Our Katie Reed was at Reagan National Airport, and she reports that many people actually ruled out flying altogether.
Good evening. Now, some people I spoke to, they told me that they're just going to bite the bullet and start driving to their destination, while others, they've completed their long-haul trips after Southwest left them stranded. And some people even told me that they've counted out flying with the airline ever again because of all the hassle that they've had to go through.
Well, it's been a nightmare.
And I drove 13 hours back from Chicago to D.C.
After multiple delays, canceled flights, and hours waiting on the phone, some travelers are now turning to their last resort, driving back to their destination rather than trying to book another flight with Southwest Airlines.
Well, it's probably going to take at least 14, 15 hours of driving.
Rich Veristasso and his wife were scheduled to fly back to Sarasota, Florida on Tuesday, but after multiple cancellations, the next available flight was not until January 2nd. Now they're packing up and rolling out for a 2-day trip back home.
Well, there's no way I can make the drive in one fell swoop. My wife would not be able to make it. There's no way she could stay in a car for that length of time. And that was the reason why we didn't drive up in the first place, because she's got some medical issues, and she really can't sit in a car for that length of time.
Others have completed their journeys back home, like Cass Awadzi, who drove 13 hours straight from Chicago after his original flight to D.C. was canceled Monday night. He says the experience has left a bad taste in his mouth.
I've submitted a request for a refund on their side. I would need at least the next 3 flights free, like regardless of where I'm going, in order for me to consider flying Southwest again. My brother, who I was traveling with, he just submitted for a credit card with Southwest, immediately canceled it.
The barrage of delays and cancellations have thrown a wrench into countless holiday plans.
So what happened to Mommy's flight?
So it got canceled.
And how'd that make you feel?
Sad.
Leaving one family separated for the holidays and forcing them to scramble and rearrange reservations.
My wife was able to come later in the week, and so she booked a flight. After everything was settled, her flight got unexpectedly canceled. Our car was only through today, and as much as I tried to change it online or change it over the phone, they basically told us, come down here, and then we had to wait in a very long line to extend the rental through Saturday, which apparently a lot of people are doing.
Now on its website, Southwest Airlines says that any of the passengers who've been affected by all this, they'll be able to rebook their flights for free. And any passenger who has been affected by a cancellation or, quote, significant delays between Christmas Eve and January 2nd of 2023, they'll be able to submit receipts for things like meals, hotel stays, or even alternative modes of transportation like the rental cars you see behind me, but that's only for reimbursement consideration. Reporting at Ronald Reagan National Airport, Katie Ree, DC News Now.
And our Joseph Almo was at another major flight hub in the DMV today as flyers at BWI Airport were left on the ground for the 3rd day in a row and shows us how the situation has evolved with time.
Inside the Southwest Airlines terminal here at BWI today, the confusion and frustration is growing.
I'm giving up.
We fly Southwest all the time. This is terrible.
My luggage has been sitting outside for days. Yeah. What sense does that make?
FlightAware reporting at BWI alone, over 220 flights have been canceled in the past 24 hours, the majority of them from one airline. The list goes on and on. Take a look. Jacksonville, Miami, Myrtle Beach, Nashville, New Orleans, just some of the departures that are canceled as Southwest runs an unprecedented race to get their flight schedule back on track. Here's CEO Bob Jordan.
Clearly, we need to double down on our already existing plans to upgrade systems for these extreme circumstances so that we never again face what's happening right now.
While the airline grapples with one of the worst cancellation crises in U.S. aviation history, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg saying it is unacceptable that Southwest hasn't recovered from last week's winter weather havoc, while other carriers have.
I conveyed to the CEO our expectation that they are going to go above and beyond to take care of passengers and to address this.
Meanwhile, it is bags, 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 and more bags here. Hundreds of them lined up at BWI Airport. Passengers trying to track him down. We're told by some that even though their bag might be physically here in the airport, they won't be able to retrieve it for the next couple of days.
We weren't giving any hotel vouchers while we were in Fort Lauderdale with all our flights canceled. We were just stuck. Kiara
Walker drove all the way from Fort Lauderdale, Florida to BWI after her flight back home was canceled. Turns out her bags never left BWI in the first place, and now she's told they have to go to Fort Lauderdale first and then back up to BWI until she can get them.
Literally, this is what I've been wearing since like Wednesday. Like, it's f***ing ridiculous.
And late today, Southwest Airlines confirming to DC News Now that they're in the final stages of setting up some sort of online portal where they'll be able to link people with their lost baggage. In the meantime, your best bet is to go to Southwest's website, hit the trip advisory button at the very top, and either make a plan to rebook your flight or get all your money back for that canceled flight that never took off. Reporting here at BWI Airport, I'm Joseph Olmo, DC News Now.
All right, and coming up in our next half hour, we'll have our consumer reporter Ben Dennis highlighting some of the ways you can get the best bang for your buck while still making it to your destination.
Well, the cold weather causing major problems for migrants right here in the DMV.
It was a rough holiday weekend for migrants staying here in Montgomery County. Coming up, how a water leak where they are staying left them in housing limbo.
Plus, the National Guard's going door to door right now in Buffalo, New York, where people lost power after the deadly winter storm. We'll show you how crews are working around the clock to help families recover and rebuild.
And we have a good amount of snowpack across Buffalo, the Ohio Valley, and sections of West Virginia. Now we have some flash flood concerns due to a big thaw that's happening across the country. We'll look at that coming up.